Romans 12:19, NASB. Never take your own revenge, beloved, but leave room for the wrath of God. For it is written, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay," says the Lord. Understanding the context and command. At its core, Romans 12:19 is a radical call to trust in the ultimate justice of God, rather than taking matters into our own hands. To understand this verse, we must look at both its theological weight and its practical application. Point 1. Never take your own revenge. The Apostle Paul addresses the human impulse for retribution. When we are wronged, whether through betrayal, slander, or physical harm, our immediate natural reflex is to even the score. Paul prohibits this. This is not because the offense is insignificant, but because our perspective is flawed. When we seek vengeance, we inevitably become biased judges, executioners, and juries, often causing more harm than the original wrong inflicted upon us. Point 2. Leave room for the wrath of God. This phrase is a powerful act of surrender. It means that we move out of the way to allow God to handle justice. Wrath in this biblical context is not a synonym for human anger, which is often impulsive and irrational. Divine wrath is the settled, holy opposition of God against all that is evil, unjust, and destructive. By leaving room, we are declaring that God is a more capable, fair, and effective judge than we could ever be. Point 3. Vengeance is mine, I will repay. Paul quotes Deuteronomy 32-35 to remind us that justice belongs to God. Because God is omniscient, He knows the heart, the motives, and the full extent of the hurt. He is the only one who can administer true, perfect justice. When we try to take vengeance, we are essentially usurping God's role, acting as if we have the authority and the wisdom that belong only to Him. Relevance for today. In our modern world, the temptation to take revenge has never been more accessible. We live in an era of instant reaction and public accountability that often functions like a digital. Today, revenge often takes the form of social media callouts, doxing, or the relentless pursuit of destroying someone's reputation through online comments. While accountability is important, the spirit of social media is often rooted in the very vengeance Paul forbids. It is a desire to see the other person suffer as much as we have, often without due process or a path for restoration. The cycle of escalation. Our culture is marked by polarization. When one side feels wronged, they retaliate, leading to an endless cycle of toxicity. Applying Romans 12:19 today looks like breaking that cycle. It is the countercultural decision to refuse to hit back in kind, even when we have the platforms and the power to do so. Trusting the long game. In a fast-paced society, we often feel that if we don't act now, justice will never happen. This verse invites us to slow down and adopt an eternal perspective. It shifts our focus from vindication, which is about our ego and our pain, to righteousness, which is about trusting that God will eventually address every wrong. Putting it into practice, living this out is incredibly difficult because it feels like passivity. However, it is actually the highest form of active faith. It is not an excuse to ignore injustice. Rather, it is a reallocation of our energy. Instead of spending our mental and emotional resources plotting how to get back at someone or destroy them, we are freed to pray for those who persecute us. This acts as a barrier against the bitterness that poisons our own souls. Focus on our own integrity. When we are wronged, the test is not how we treat our enemy, but how we maintain our own character. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean the wrong was okay. It means we are choosing not to hold the debt against the person anymore, handing that ledger over to God. By letting go of the need to be the instrument of vengeance, we stop being defined by the wrongs done to us and start being defined by the God who promises to make all things right. It is the ultimate expression of trust. We believe that justice is coming. We just believe that God is much better at it than we are.